Alright, welcome to Beyond Obsessed Music Reviews. Today, we are going to talk, or I am going to talk about Kid Rock. His latest album, Sweet Southern Sugar, came out 2 years ago on November 3rd. Before I actually review the album, I'm going to give you a little background. I'm sure everybody knows who Kid Rock is. But Kid Rock was born Robert James Ritchie on January 17th, 1971. He is a self-taught rapper and DJ. His first album, Grit Sandwiches for Breakfast, came out in 1990. And it was heavily influenced by the Beastie Boys. And then two independent albums come out after that. The Polyfuse Method and Early Morning Stone Pimp. And then in 1996, his major label, or major record, Devil Without a Cause, came out. And it took about 3 albums for me to really get a sound. Of course, on every album he does, fans don't know if it's going to be rap, rock, country, blues, metal. I mean, he mixes everything together. His music's a big melting pot for everything from, you can find influences from Run DMC to Robert Johnson. Just all over the map. But like I said, I've seen him twice. He is very good live. I'd love to meet him. Never met him before. But, anyways, he is performed with damn near everyone under the sun, from Jerry Lee Lewis to Kid Rock to Run DMC to Eminem to, Leonard Skinner to, you name it, Marshall Tucker Band. You name it, I think there's very few that he hasn't, performed with. And a funny story about him is when he finally made, Devil Without a Cause, and at first it wasn't that big of a success. They actually re-released it, and then it started gaining traction, and that was back when the heavy metal rap infused with like Limp Bizkit and Korn and those type of bands, Fred Durst, and it started gaining a lot of traction. But when he performed, I can't remember what award show it was that year, but he performed with Run DMC and then Aerosmith, and then he did. But his story goes, his father was in the audience, and there was a record producer or bigwig right by him and his mother. I think his brother was there too. But he was like, well, how long is this going to last, He goes, I don't think his dad realized that he'd made it, and it wasn't just a weekend gig anymore, because he was up there with, one of the biggest influential hip-hop trios and one of the biggest rock acts in the world. You can't get no bigger than Aerosmith or, maybe Rolling Stones, but so... And like I said, he's performed, with anything. But anyways, Sweet Southern Sugar, he's on a new record label now. It's based out of Nashville. He actually lives in a trailer, like right outside of Nashville, on like 40, 50, maybe more acres. And he likes it. And I seen a interview he did with Dan Rather, and it's a very, if you hadn't checked it out, go check it out. But let's talk Sweet Southern Sugar. Like I said, he puts every type of music in there, between the country to the rock, but it kicks off. The first track is Greatest Show on Earth, and it's just him cocky with that heavy metal rock sound. He's the greatest fucking show on earth. Cocky like he was back in his early days. I think he settled down a little bit now. Then the next one goes into Podunk, which reminds me of like Cowboy White Trash. You got turntables and, in the background, and Southern rock rap like, used to, and, back on Devil Without a Cause and Cocky, and, then it slows down on Tennessee Mountaintop, which is a Southern rock country song. And, I just love that song because it mentions Donnie Depp to Keith Richards to, just that whole, like, Southern California vibe, the Viper Room. And then he talks about falling in love with Pam Anderson, and you'll end up in California, Then on the fourth track, is I Wonder, and it's more R&B and doo-wop. He goes back to old school. And then on American Rock and Roll, it's really classic rock and a really, really great song and soundtrack. One of the great, I would say, it's one of the great rock songs, and then the sixth song, Back to the Other Side, it's hip hop, and then, it goes into Rain and Whiskey, which is another doo-wop song. And that was the only one that was not wrote by him, it was written by, I can't remember who it was written by, but it wasn't written by Kid Rock. And then on the eighth track is Stand the Pain, which is a slow song that is about keep on keeping on and not giving up and hope for the world. And, if you're down, God will be there to pick you up. Then he does a very, very damn good cover of the Four Tops, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. Then on the very last song, Grandpa's Jam, it's back to old school Kid Rock and fuck this and fuck that, and just old school Kid Rock, cocky. And it was I can't remember who it was produced by. It might have been produced. I'm sure it might have been produced by him, because I know he produces a lot of his albums. But I'm sure people have heard this album. But go check it out. And like I said, Kid Rock, you can't go wrong with Kid Rock. From, like I said, hip hop to country. Another story that I heard was when he decided to release, what's that song? Picture. The record producers or whoever it was, bigwig, said that song will kill your career. And he had so much faith in himself that he actually took out his own money to produce a video and single and get to all the radio stations around the U.S. And it actually was the biggest hit he's ever had. I think up in that time, I don't know. But, he pretty much told them to fuck off and, because it did. But that's all on the Kid Rock album review. I just got through seeing John Dooley. He is out of, I think, Charleston or Greenwood. He is a local artist. He does lots of 90s music from, literally from like, I just went blank. The people that sing She Talks to Angels, to Travis Tritt, to Garth Brooks, to, all the 90s music, 90s pop, Michael Jackson. He does a very, very good soulful version of Tom Petty in the heart, or Tom Petty's Free Fallin'. But check him out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your music. Also check out johndooley.com. And, hi, Snarky. But, if you like local music, check him out. He's really good, like I said. And he's got an EP, a 5 or 6 song EP. I can't remember. But it's, I think it came out like 2014, 15. If you go to www.inspiringmusicblogger.com, I did a album review of him. So, he reminds me of like, Eagle-Eyed Cherry and into that nature. He's got a different sound, but he's really great and really got a really soulful voice. So check him out. I think this weekend I'm gonna go watch another local guy. He's out of Arkansas. His name is Dylan Earl, and he is really like 60s country, like the honky tonk. I think he released an album in 2017. I don't know that much about him, but if you go onto I'm gonna probably take I do pictures and then do videos on my YouTube and Facebook. My Facebook is Beyond Obsessed, and my YouTube is Aspiring Music Writer on YouTube, and I upload all the YouTube videos and share them on Facebook, so check them out. Just like I said, go check out your local artists, and a few albums that are coming out that I know of is Whiskey Myers' self-titled album's coming out on the September 27th, and they've got 2 of their songs out right now on Spotify and iTunes. That's where I listen to mine, unless I buy the vinyl album, the actual vinyl album. And then Scott Stapp, former lead singer of, Creed, he's got one coming out. So, but just check your local, if you're into music, check your local, cause they're all local at first, and I'll be back next time.